What if I told you that the most underrated invention in history, or the one that quietly saved millions of lives, is something sitting in your bathroom right now? It's not electricity. It's not antibiotics. It's not even modern medicine. It's soap. Yeah, soap. It sounds almost too simple to matter. But the truth is, soap didn't just make people cleaner. It changed the course of human history, and for most of that history, people didn't believe in it. This is the story you've probably never heard, the history of soap, and how something so basic ended up saving the world. Now imagine this. You wake up in a city a few hundred years ago. There's no running water, no plumbing, no sewage system hidden underground. Waste is thrown into the streets. Animals roam freely. The smell is constant. People rarely bathe, and almost nobody washes their hands before eating. This wasn't unusual. This was normal. Hygiene, as we understand it today, didn't exist, and because of that, disease wasn't an exception. It was part of everyday life. Entire families could get sick within days. Entire neighborhoods could disappear within weeks. But here's the most important part. People didn't know why. They didn't understand bacteria. They didn't know about viruses. They believed disease came from bad air, something called miasma. If something smelled terrible, they assumed that smell itself caused illness. So what did people do? They tried to cover the smell. They burned incense. They carried flowers. They avoided certain areas. But they never addressed the real problem, contamination. And that's what makes this story so strange, because the solution already existed. Soap had been around for thousands of years. The earliest evidence goes back to ancient Babylon around 2800 BC. They mixed fats with ash to create a substance that could clean things. The Egyptians used similar mixtures. Even the Romans knew about soap, but they didn't use it for hygiene the way we do today. In fact, for much of history, soap was considered more of a luxury item. It was used for cleaning fabrics or treating skin conditions, not for preventing disease. Think about that for a second. Humanity had access to one of the most powerful tools for survival, and completely misunderstood its purpose. It's like having a fire extinguisher and using it as decoration while your house is burning. As cities grew during the Middle Ages, the problem got worse. More people meant more waste. More waste meant more disease. Streets turned into open sewage systems. Rivers became dumping grounds. The same water people drank was often contaminated. Outbreaks of cholera and dysentery became common. Then came one of the deadliest events in human history, the Black Death. In the 14th century, the plague killed an estimated 25 to 50 million people in Europe alone. That's up to half the population. And still, people didn't understand the real cause. Instead of improving hygiene, many believed bathing could actually make you more vulnerable to disease. Some thought water opened the pores, allowing illness to enter the body, so people avoided washing, which only made things worse. This wasn't just a lack of knowledge. It was a complete misunderstanding of how the human body interacted with the world. Fast forward to the 1800s. Cities are getting bigger. Medicine is becoming more advanced. Hospitals are becoming more common. But they were incredibly dangerous places, not because of a lack of skill, but because of a lack of hygiene. Doctors didn't wash their hands. Surgical tools weren't sterilized. Infection was everywhere. And one of the most horrifying examples of this happened in maternity wards. In some hospitals, up to 1 in 3 women giving birth would die shortly after delivery. It was called childbed fever. Doctors had no idea what was causing it. Some blamed overcrowding, others blamed the air, but no one considered the possibility that they themselves were the problem, until a doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis started paying attention. He worked in a hospital in Vienna in the 1840s, and he noticed something strange. There were 2 maternity wards, one staffed by doctors, the other by midwives. The ward run by doctors had a much higher death rate. That didn't make sense. Doctors were supposed to be more educated, more trained. So why were their patients dying more often? Semmelweis started looking for patterns, and then he found something that changed everything. Doctors in his hospital were performing autopsies in the morning, and then delivering babies later that same day, without washing their hands. They were unknowingly carrying infectious material from dead bodies to living patients. So Semmelweis introduced a simple rule. Before entering the maternity ward, doctors had to wash their hands with a solution that included soap. That's it. No advanced equipment, no complex procedure, just washing hands. The results were immediate. Death rates dropped dramatically, from over 30% to less than 2%. It was one of the most significant medical breakthroughs of the time. He had proof, clear, undeniable evidence. Soap saved lives. But here's where the story takes a turn that almost feels unbelievable. The medical community rejected him completely. Doctors didn't like the idea that they were responsible for deaths. It challenged their authority, their pride, and the solution seemed too simple to be taken seriously. How could something as basic as washing hands fix such a serious problem? They asked. Semmelweis tried everything. He published his findings, he wrote letters, he confronted other doctors. But the resistance was too strong. Instead of being celebrated, he was criticized, mocked. Eventually, he lost his position. His career collapsed. And in one of history's cruelest ironies, he died in a mental institution years before his ideas were accepted. It wasn't until later in the 19th century that scientists like Louis Pasteur began to prove the existence of germs. Suddenly, everything started to make sense. Disease wasn't caused by bad air. It was caused by microscopic organisms. And how do you stop them? You clean, you disinfect, you use soap. From that moment on, the world began to change. Hospitals adopted hygiene practices. Surgeons began sterilizing their tools, hand washing became standard, and the results were undeniable. Death rates dropped, surgeries became safer, childbirth became less dangerous, life expectancy increased, but the impact didn't stop there. Soap became part of everyday life. Governments began promoting hygiene. Public health campaigns encouraged people to wash their hands. Clean water systems were developed. Sewage systems were built underground. Cities transformed, not because of one invention alone, but because people finally understood the importance of cleanliness. And this is why soap is so important. It's not just about being clean. It's about survival. It's about preventing invisible threats. It's about breaking the chain of disease before it spreads. Something so simple had such a massive impact. Even in the modern world, the importance of soap hasn't changed. During global health crises, one of the first recommendations is always the same: wash your hands. It's still one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of illness, not because it's new, but because it works. And yet, we still take it for granted. We don't think about it. We don't question it. It's just part of our routine. But behind that routine is a story of misunderstanding, resistance, and eventually, transformation. The history of soap isn't just about hygiene. It's about human behavior. It's about how we ignore simple solutions, how we resist change, how we underestimate things that seem too basic to matter, and how sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones we overlook. So the next time you wash your hands, think about what you're actually doing. You're using one of the most underrated inventions in history, a tool that helped humanity survive some of its darkest moments, a tool that doctors once refused to believe in, a tool that quietly saved the world. And it makes you wonder, what else exists today that could change everything, but we're still ignoring it? Because history has shown us something important. The greatest breakthroughs don't always look impressive. They don't always feel revolutionary. Sometimes they look ordinary, and sometimes they're right in front of us.